Let's rock and hello, hello. I am Connie Kircher. I serve as Elite Entrepreneur Coach. It is 2025, and we're going deep diving into engagement. So everybody on the call or watching the recording, you should have some type of magical drink. Ooh, the sparkle cup kind of gets lost in the gram. That's kind of fun. But I really want you to come prepared for everyone that's live right now to be able to go, it's okay to be super, direct in what your ask is, and think about, Connie, how am I going to practically implement what you're sharing in the next 6 weeks? Because I think sometimes when we attend trainings like this, it's like that concept is wonderful, but you're never going to take action on it. I'm okay with that. You're only going to even remember 24% of what I shared today. So I'm good. Okay. So let's start with introductions. We're going to go Samantha, and then we're going to go Trish, and then we're going to roll into today's training.
Helps if I unmute. Hey, everybody. I'm Samantha with More Than Serendipity Visual Marketing, and I help take the overwhelm out of social media for busy entrepreneurs. The main focus in my business is women. I help mostly through a group called the Plandipity Doers, where I provide content and accountability and systems that help make it really simple for them to show up consistently on social media. So if you know anyone who's doing their best to do their own social media, but isn't quite confident they're doing it great, I would love an introduction. Or if you just know someone who's ready to push that social media off their plate completely, I might be able to help there too. So Samantha with More Than Serendipity Visual Marketing.
Awesome. Welcome to Diving In. Here we go. Who did we say next? Trish is up next. There we go, Rockstar.
Hi, everybody. I am Trish Sonone Murray. My company helps seniors and their families downsize, declutter, and move into the next stage of their life. We also level up busy professionals and families' home organization, so life runs smoother. And my favorite, right-sizing people into tiny homes. I do this in person and virtually. Well, not the moves virtually, but the rest, and help guide people to live their best life by simplifying it so they can relax and enjoy it. My focus now is to reach as many seniors and their families as possible. So if you know anybody that works in those realms or works with seniors, we understand how daunting it is, and it's never too early to start. So we like to get them started sooner rather than later and help take that process off their plate.
Awesome. Awesome. Such a good service. Such a good, heart behind there. All right, Krista and then Amelia.
Hi, I am Krista Ford, and I am a business owner with my uncle on a agricultural marketing business. Since we've met last, we have rocked a name change, so we are now officially called Ag Biz Alliance. And we we do online. We've completely revamped our website so we connect agricultural businesses with other agricultural businesses or service providers. And we also publish a monthly magazine. And we just released our January edition last week, and we have had record number of readers out of that. So things are moving in the right direction, and I'm just happy to be here getting some more wisdom from Connie and seeing what everybody else has got to share.
Amen. So good, Krista. Yay, that's so good. All right, Amelia, and then let's go, Laura. It's going to work, sister. I can feel it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Blast off. That was it.
All right. I'm Amelia with Mount Sanitas Therapeutic Massage and Longs Peak Therapeutic Massage out of Estes Park in Boulder. I specialize in working with outdoor enthusiasts for pain relief and detailed work around what they're needing as far as anything from injuries to car accidents in that nature. Yeah, and that's me.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Is this your first time in an adulting environment at all, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, friend. Glad you're here. All right, Laura, and then we'll go Michelle.
Hi, Laura Brzezinski, Radiant Joy Coaching. I inspire women who are feeling like their life is running them to step into and claim their personal power and create a life on their terms that they love living. And I love working with moms. Not all my clients are moms, but moms especially, because we forget to put ourselves first. We forget about the whole oxygen mask, and that's what empowers us. And so I do one-on-one coaching, and I am launching a group coaching program this year. And I have a workshop coming up tomorrow night and Friday morning for the moms to introduce it. It's called Create Your Best Year Yet. And it's about applying the life vision process of creating that amazing picture and feeling of what you would love to live, and then working back to today on how to get started on that. So
Love
any
it.
moms that are feeling kind of stressed, overwhelmed, or like, I just need some help claiming my life back, that's what I love working with. Thank you.
Good,
And
good.
my first visit.
Yes. Super, super good. You're very welcome. Happy Tuesday, guys. It feels good. All right, we'll go Michelle and then we'll go Amanda.
Oh, all right. I think that worked. I am driving, so it's dark. So bear with me on that. Hi, I am Michelle Lyman. I work full time, but I also have a side business that I am super passionate about. I am partnered with the brand Neora, and I help people find clean skincare, hair care, wellness, and weight management. And I love being able to help people transform how they look and feel. So what I am looking to do is help as many people as I can to simplify what they put on and in their body with amazing science-backed products. So if you know anybody who's looking for these types of products as a customer, or would love to have it be an additional income, that's who I'm looking to help as many people as I can.
Awesome,
So
Michelle.
send them my way.
Okay. Love it, Michelle. Be safe. Be safe driving there. All right, we'll go Amanda and then Ashley, please.
I'm Amanda Spock. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I just opened Graceful Living Functional Medicine and Nutrition. It's a functional medicine practice where I focus mainly on gut health and women's hormone balancing. So spent about 20 years in the conventional system and really have become just obsessed with the functional medicine way, and really trying to help people get a hold of their health and get in front of chronic disease before it gets them. So I'm located in Fort Collins, Colorado. I see people in person and virtually. And business is like all new to me. I've done medicine my whole career, so I'm just happy to get all the nuggets that you're going to serve, and make some connections with the social media piece, as was mentioned, and all the things that I'm learning. So
You're in the right place, Amanda. Like, just soak it all in and watch it 19 more times. It's gonna be so good. Okay, awesome, Amanda. All right, Ashley, tee us up.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. Ashley Eberly, owner of Mindful Movements and Stretching. I'm located in Columbus, Ohio. I provide stretching services to companies as a wellness moment, one-on-one sessions, both personally in person as well as virtually, and do group events. My favorite one actually last year was a bachelor event. That was super fun. And then also recently, starting this year, providing weekly classes at another local boutique gym that's owned by a woman. And that is one of my core values, is being able to partner and lift up local, other diverse owned businesses as myself. I'm looking to find ways to help women feel empowered within their body. I connect both the physical movement of stretching with the emotional and mental, because the best way that you can show up physically is being able to release that emotional and mental drag that you feel from other people relying on you, things that you're dealing with in your day, in your past, in your life, and then just really how you show up for yourself. And the better you feel emotionally and mentally, the more you can show up physically better for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. You're rocking and rolling. Even though you moved, you're rocking and rolling. I love it.
Yeah.
That didn't slow you down at all. I love it.
Nope.
All right, our last but not least, other Amanda, tee us up, and then we'll go into training. We're gonna get it. Here we go. Rocking and rolling. The unmute is gonna magically. There we go.
Oh, the joys. I'm Amanda Bryant. I am the owner and lead travel agent at Inspired Itineraries Travel. We help couples, couples, small groups, and families celebrate life through travel, whether that means that you just need to get away and celebrate yourself, or you need to make some family memories. We plan all of the details so you can do just that. Enjoy life, enjoy the travel, stress-free, and being able to fully make all the memories possible. So, and I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Love it. Love it. Love it. How's the weather?
It's cold.
It's a little chilly. All right. I love it. All right, Amanda. Awesome. So in closing, and then we'll get to the training. I'm Connie Kircher. I serve again in the sphere for elite entrepreneurs, not meaning a dollar amount, duration of business. It's a mindset, right? That I work with mostly women business owners that want to level up their intentionality in their business. So I think sometimes people feel like, Connie, I haven't met this benchmark or this. I don't know what is the pre-qualification of the qualification for elite entrepreneur coaching. And it's you're out of hobby state. You've gotten a couple, bruises along the way of the entrepreneurial journey that you kind of got, you're a little rough and tough already. And yet you're wanting to level up in the space of sales, marketing, follow-up, and you're really ready to build a sustainable business model. That's my ideal client, to work in a capacity of retreats or work in a capacity of one-on-one coaching that I help customize. What does that look like in the season of life you are as a person, in the season and business skill set that we all either have and or are developing, and then being able to be super diligent. And I'm always teaching, you are the CEO and you are the practitioner or the nurse practitioner or the, facilitator or the creator of that. But we have to get to a place. And this is also why I think adulting is so important, is that Connie Kircher is always managing Connie Kircher. The CEO, the LLC, this is what we need to do for 2025 is always managing and developing the employee side of me, right? And being like, hey, Connie, stay back on track. Hey, Connie, I see that maybe you have a skill set deficiency. We need to put you on an employee enhancement plan. I've been on plenty of them for my own business. Let me just tell you. And, or, we haven't met this goal. What's holding you back? So as we look at tonight's training, I want you to think about, okay, we're going to talk all about engagement. I want you to be the engagement director. So the CEO sent you to today's training and you're like, I don't even know what engagement is, but I guess it's going to be on my report card at the end of this month. Okay. And I want you just to go, if I was the engagement director for my company, which, surprise, you actually are, this is what I need to be building or, working towards, so that over the next couple months, I have a repeatable process for my business. I am not the type of coach that says, let's do a one and done. Let's see how that fizzles out. I'm a much more like, let's do it for 2025 so we can tweak and adapt and review and revise for the next 5 years. Your business is not Innovation LLC. But I think because the entrepreneurial sexiness gets all like, we got to try this. And it's so excited. And most of us have kind of like some, shiny object syndrome issues. Maybe just me. We need to remember that I am the engagement director that the CEO just sent me to get a 30-minute blast off training to go, how are we going to implement this realistically the next 6 to 8 weeks? Okay. So that's the framework I want you watching this training. So I'm going to share the screen. Again, super mindful that we are, going to be able to talk and have conversation. And again, what are you going to implement will be the most important part for me. But this is going to be true, like adulting 101 kickoff to 2025. Okay. So we're going to hold space for best practices when it comes to engagement. Well, what do I mean by that? How do we follow up with that? So again, I have many, many, many videos about what is engagement, what is follow-up, what are best practices for this. This is a one-time training, but if you're wanting more additional little tidbits, little resources, please make sure that you connect with me either on, YouTube. You can subscribe there. There's plenty of different, shorts and or true training videos where it's like, I can watch that 3 times and build out my, follow-up strategy or retention strategy. Feel free to follow again any elite entrepreneur coach, events that would happen on Facebook, and then on Instagram, Samantha Markey would be so proud on today's call that then I have finally cleaned up my little icons on Instagram. I've learned how to do it and have different trainings and different resources underneath each one of those. So again, I'm a big believer of like coaching doesn't just happen in these 30 minutes. It's something that will need to continue to be reinforced. And I'm not the type of coach that will just give you a razzle dazzle piece. I'll always give you the data, the research, and the sustainability of that. So from that point, the best practices that if I do my job right and I be of service, I want you to understand what we mean by engagement. I want to break down 4, so you can already write down 4 outcomes in terms of like, I want to learn touch points of what engagement means. And then I want to actually break down a structure for you of what would cultivating a 90-day engagement plan look like, no matter what your service-based or product-based business is, no matter how many networking events you are going to or not, no matter how many, it's a solo position or you've got 2 people on your team. I want us to think through an engagement plan is in a 90-day cycle, and then we rinse and repeat. Okay, that's my last outcome is for you to understand that I need to cultivate a 90-day plan. It's not twice a year. I feel like sending, not in a mean way if you've done this, some cookies during the holidays and a calendar of the Broncos schedule or something, right? Like, okay, super appropriate maybe, but let's get a little bit more intentional with what our engagement points could be. So let's start with the definition. The purpose of engagement touch points. And I don't just mean I'm liking and commenting on social media, posts. That's not what I mean. Go up from you are the engagement director today. Okay. I am asking you from a business model standpoint, what and how are you engaging with prospects, past clients, people that have cycled out of your sales because they have worked with you for the 6 months. You have solved all of the world's problems and then some with them. What about all those referral partner folks? That should be a natural engagement point. How often are you quote unquote touching or engaging those relationships? So one miss that I think that happens with engagement is we expect, this even happened on a client call today, we expect because we're marketing, because you're showing up to networking, and because you're doing top of mind strategies. But Connie, I posted 78 times. Okay. But Connie, I've been marketing like crazy. But Connie, you don't understand. I SEO'd the crap out of my website. That is marketing. That is not value add engagement. Okay. So it is our responsibility as engagement directors. You just got a new title. Ask your boss for a raise. Is I'm actively interested. I'm keeping the clients active with me. It's my responsibility to have these touch points, and it's for them to ultimately feel connected to my brand. Not just the program they're in, not just the workshop they took, not just the package they got from you. They are now emotionally, physically, financially committed and loyal. That's what I mean by connected, is why we're doing engagement. And the reason I'm painting that picture is sometimes we do very surface level engagement and you wonder why it's not working. That does not create brand loyalty. That does not create what I call super fans, right? So if you think by just doing I do a rinse and repeat automated email that has no customization, for example, but it really has no loyalty conversation, trust conversation, or I'm giving them other offerings to work with me. Think about that third part. We get really sketched out to be like, can one of my follow-up strategies be another offering? Because they worked with me in this capacity, but they don't know I have this type of consultation. They don't know I have this type of program. It is our responsibility to make sure that there is a rhythm, a cadence, that every person in our life cycle of touching our business model has been exposed to other ways of utilizing your expertise. It is not on the client's responsibility. Okay. So let me put in a good way, all the pressure, AKA privilege, right? You know me, in the bodybuilding world, we don't talk about pressure. We talk about it's a privilege to put this type of, expectations on ourselves. We get to rise, to the top. It's the same piece when I go, it is a privilege that all the clients I have served and they have trusted me with their business, Amanda with their health, other Amanda with their, with their building memories for a bucket list that they have worked so hard on. For all of us that want to see a transformation of what your service provides, I want you to flip instead of being like, I have to do engagement because the CEO kind of told me I have to do it. I want you to switch and be like, it is my ultimate goal. I have spent so much freaking money and time marketing. Why would I not hold my engagement department to the highest level to go, it took all of that momentum to get them exposed to our business, our services, the way that we interact. Why would we not actively keep that relationship alive? Okay. So I think about it in a, other example is engagement helps us keep, they get exposed to one part, quote unquote, of the garden of your services. But engagement strategies, way that you follow up with folks, way that you actively stay connected to them is next thing you know, they didn't know that you had this part of the garden. They didn't know that this was also an offering because it's just not appropriate when they first start to work with you. It's our responsibility that these engagement points are not repetitive, being like, hi, these are the 3 things I offer. How are you? Happy birthday. Thank you. Like sometimes it just gets so weird and awkward that think about like if you're in a dating relationship and all that the touch points were, think about this, were happy birthday in a DM, real talk. And they like, thank you every once in a while. You're probably not going to stay with that partner. It's the same concept with building engagement in your business. Okay. So let's talk about 4 ways that are sustainable and again, in a rhythm of every 90 days. So you personalize your communication regularly. So much research have shown this is like the best data of 2025 I've ever read in my life. Let's see what this chat says though, real fast. Dating my clients. Got it. Work it, Ashley. I like it. Okay. So just read a new research study. Your mind's going to be blown. Here's the example. You go to a restaurant and you get your check, okay? They did this awesome study. Tell me if you've seen this, that you get your check and you get 1 mint with it. And I don't mention, Michelle, thanks so much for dining with us tonight. I just give you the check and I give you 1 mint. Most people received a tip around 8% to 12% when that was the personal touch point with them, okay? Same restaurant, same price point, same even server, okay? Then they go in and they don't mention their name. They go, okay, here's the check. Here's 2 mints. Okay. But it's still just like not very personal. I'm not recognizing what a great, night they had or anything like that. You're getting mostly like a 15 to 20% tip. Okay. Beautiful research to adapt to your business. I just trained an entire team of car salesmen in Texas on this technique. The third and best way to make a meaningful, personalized touch was when the server put the check down and said, I apologize. I didn't get your guys' names. It's Connie and, and Colleen, my sister, Colleen. And you go, here's a mint for you, Connie. Here's a mint, same 2 freaking mints. Okay. Same cost. Here's a mint for you, Connie. Here's a mint for you, Colleen. And I hope that you guys have like a wonderful night. Like, you guys have been spectacular. It's been awesome serving you. Tips went up to 20 to 30%. It's the same check. It's the same 2 mints. I'm still paying forward a gratitude moment, right? But it was remembering their name. Now I know that you're like, I don't give out checks and mints, Connie. Is that what you're telling me I need to do? I'm giving you the metaphor that when you have your first interaction with a paid experience and you send your invoice, okay, I'm going to be really honest with you. How many of you all give a personalized call or a personalized bonus to be like, I am so thankful that you just signed up for XYZ, or is all that automated? Okay. Or when it's their birthday reminder in your CRM system and it doesn't have their specific, any customized, thank you so much for this part of your business, your 5-year, experience with me, that there's no personal connection to our relationship in that. I just know that I'm on the brownie cycle of the CRM system. I know I'm on the calendar cycle of most, there's no real estate agents on here, but most of them that have the just like canned, like I say, Bronco schedule that's sent out. It's a lovely touch point, but it's not meaningful. Okay. So adapt that. How can you personalize that when you have your next interaction with them, when they have the next booking with you, you do a 20-second, hey, Connie, thanks so much for booking, you and your family on XYZ, looking forward to our time. And this is where you got to build this in. And here's the next thing I want to give you. That's the second mint mentality is don't wait to it be later in the touch point process. Already front load it in appreciation and gratitude on the front end. Okay. So let's say this, the birthday message. Most of us have this in our CRM system, or we aren't as consistent in it, but we know of it. Okay. So you go and you say, okay, Connie, happy birthday, July 7th. Woo, it's super, super, exciting. What if you said, I want to have, a 20-minute conversation with you and talk about from our last session or the last trip you booked with me or the last time you ordered with me. I want to talk about some of the new products or new, offerings that we have. And I want to actually provide, a discount for that instead of just sending a coupon. The other way you can customize this first technique is why are we not using the voice memo functionality? Okay. We use a lot of graphics anymore, but there's so many recording functionalities that when you see the excitement of you, the business owner, interacting with me, just like when you see the server be like, I am so sorry. What is your name? Here's the 2 minutes. I'm super excited, that I was able to be of service to you. That tweak has to happen. So much, again, research has shown the automated email of like, thank you for your purchase. Good job. That is not a meaningful touch point. That is called a receipt. Okay. So that process needs to be developed, needs to be part of your 90-day strategy of how do I have maybe a couple canned in a loving way? Because I understand sometimes it's like, Connie, I don't have 60 hours a month to be like sending personalized birthday mints to everybody. I still have 3 to 5 recordings that I'm able to position to different parts of my customer base to be able to say, happy birthday month, right? Looking forward to working with you again the next 6 months. I'd love to get something on the calendar and pay forward, a ticket to my next XYZ. Like make it way deeper for our next date. AK to Ashley's point, it'd be really awkward if I was just like, happy 1-year anniversary, happy birthday, see you next year. And expect for our business to just keep blossoming. I think a lot of us as business owners, our funnels dry up. But yet, Connie, I send my newsletter. But Connie, I posted my 17th reel. Samantha would be so proud. It's because we have lost this personalization. Okay. And I will tell you your ROI, like how I've scaled every service-based business, is I still keep that personal touch of making sure that I'm referencing a past experience that they coached with me, they attended with me, was meaningful when they, attended a workshop or I networked with them. And then I'm honestly checking in to be like, how is that going? Congratulations. And I'm literally thinking I am dating my database of thousands of people. And at some point, they're going to re-engage and be like, yep, this is the next time I do want to work with you. Yep, I'm interested in the next offering with you. But if you don't keep it personal, they are not going to activate. Okay. Okay. Number 2 is consistent value. I always love to say, what are your insights for this month? So here's a real activity for each one of you. If you are the expert in, premenopausal hormone, management, Amanda, or if we're going, all right, Krista, here's best practices. Laura's going, joy is this metaphor for, January when we're all like, oh my gosh, it's, it's snowy in Colorado or it's cold or whatever. Each one of you should have useful insights that are little takeaways, little grab and goes, and a little bit of an alignment with your brand. Okay. So when we also think these tips and these resources, I understand that most of us do a monthly or quarterly newsletter. Most of us do them through social media posts and informal, just kind of check-ins. But have you ever looked at your CRM and said, I want to capture my top 20%. So here's number 2, my top 20% of clients that they're about to renew, or I haven't quite built a rapport with them. I haven't done a touch point. This is, again, I check this about every second month of every quarter. Okay. So whenever it's in February, whenever it's in May, I do this 4 times a year, that I fine tooth comb my CRM and I go, I need to find a resource, a tip, or an insight for my top 20% of my clientele. I'm not customizing it to a Laura, an Amelia, a Samantha, a Trish. I don't mean that. But I do a data run and I'm like, who are my top 20% of folks that I want to make sure we're still dating? They still know I love them. I'm still showing them appreciation, right? And I go, what's my useful insights as a trend for those folks? A tip that would not take a time intensive for me or have to outsource something to somebody, and or a current resource or a video that I already have as an added on personalized piece that's not just canned in our newsletters. Okay. It takes 45 minutes, 4 times a year. And I can't tell you how many times when you focus on that top 20% that they don't blink at your prices. They don't blink at like, oh, is she worth, doing the thing? Like, that's how you keep engagement being, we all know it. We've worked with clients that are in our bottom, what I'd say 50% of engagement. I'm not, in a loving way for 2025, I don't want us spending a lot of resources, aka your time as the engagement director, trying to revive the dead of your CRM list. I am moving each one of you to say, if you kept your top 20% active, engaged, loved on, supported, overly valued, to go, I think this would be a great tip. Did you know about this? Here's something, happening virtually that I think would be an added value to, that's in alignment of what, I coach. I'm going to tell you, the ultimate goal is to have your top 20% provide 80% of your revenue in your business model. That's when cha-ching, in a loving way, I have reached a sustainable part of my business. That 20% of my clientele, the ones that I hone in, they're my dream clients, they're rocking and rolling, they're retained, they're loved on. Why do we water our engagement points to be like, I don't know, I thought that person would like this strategy, this post, this technique. And I'm like, those people aren't your people. They may have had a one and done with you. Let's keep them in your passive engagement tools, a cycle of a newsletter, a cycle of a, kind of engagement point once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a year. But moving your time to go, do you decipher your top 20% and how often? Do you pull a report on that? Do you even track that? It's okay if you don't, but tomorrow it's not going to be okay. Okay. So I want you to start figuring out what are those trends and themes to start positioning your value propositions, your resources, your tips. And so you're not making all these freaking freebies. Can I get an amen? How many of you all have somewhere on your vision board or somewhere on your checklist, create freebie or opt-in? Oh, all of us? Okay. Super duper. Okay, yeah, everyone's like, oh, yeah, you kind of saw my to-do list and that's been running since 2007 that I was supposed to create that freebie. Let's make it easier. Let's adjust. And the engagement director goes, you only can focus on 4 freebies a year, rinse and repeat for the next 3 years. What would you do for your top 20% of your clientele? That's strategy. Okay, I think we've gotten that one pretty deep. That's what I mean by number 3. Okay, the way that you create number 3, and then we've got number 4, creative dialogue, is how often and do you have a regular call list, a regular survey cycle, and a way that they are able to give feedback on, we're trying to set up this group, or we're about to repackage this, or we're looking to add this type of class. I want you to do that to the masses. This one, I'm okay with you being able to be like, we're doing a survey, but I want to keep it quick. Most of us ask for feedback with no freaking deadline. Okay. So this is where I like to open up the conversation to go, I have open office hours, maybe at the end of this month, maybe in February, that you invite for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, everyone that has done business with you. Again, engagement on this is not to prospect. Engagement is to get, where are my top 20% clients retained? That's a business model. We don't want churn rate. Churn rate, bad. No, no, no. Retention level, good. Keep. Okay. So again, you maybe offer this to the entire database, but the ultimate goal is to be able to say, I'm going to give you, behind the scenes access, or, here's kind of my program layout for 2025. I want some feedback. I love being able to do like a focus group, right? I need 5 people in a focus group. Would you like to be one of those? Because I want to create some dialogue for 30 minutes. You don't need to pay them. You don't need to overextend and offer the barn and the horses to them. What you need to do is give them an opportunity to provide real life feedback so that you go, okay, you would tweak it that way. Why did you work with me? Like, Laura, you could ask very intently to be like, what was the transformation in the way that I held the 6-week course, or the way that I did my 5 sessions? What would I have done differently? Would I have, moved that module 6, because that meant nothing to you, and focus more on this topic? You have to give it time besides just a survey. Okay. The last part of, if you all have done surveys and people have given you testimonials and surveys back, I love going back to those people and saying, I want to do this real time. I want to talk out this survey with you in a group setting. Save your time. Don't do it in a one-on-one standpoint. Okay. Because a group setting then creates community, explains like, oh, that's what Trisha got out of XYZ. I didn't even know that Connie did that. So it's a wonderful way to, again, cultivate this garden and give you some time to customize. Hey, we're going to do a group call or a focus group on, this new 6-week program I'm going to roll out. It is okay in your process of follow-up engagement to go, your input matters, besides, again, it being just at the bottom of their receipt. Like real audit time as engagement director, because there's no shame or guilt on these calls. When have you created 19 different products, virtual products, e-courses, evergreen content, opt-ins, all these things, and you never actually ran it past your actual clientele in a meaningful way? Yeah. Stop creating things in your silo and get your customer base to give you feedback. That's a very meaningful way to build retention, to build engagement, and it not just be, again, a canned birthday card. Okay. Okay. Last but not least, folks, keep going. We're going a little bit deeper, is this client community. So I model this for you all in adulting happy hours. This is a way for me to create a container that's sustainable. I run these every single month, but I'm modeling this for you. Now, don't call it adulting happy hour, but steal the concept. Okay. I'm like, hey, maybe just don't do that. Do your own thing though. But if it's around women and hormones, if it's around the joyful journey, if it's around the, transformation, or, how to live a minimalistic lifestyle and maximize, your life, right? Creating something that's even as quarterly. Okay. I don't think you should start something like this on a monthly basis. It's a lot to sustain until you get into the rhythm, just in all honesty. But duplicate an hour session, like literally steal the format. I tell every person I coach, take something like the adulting happy hour and make it your own so you can funnel an invitation. Number 4 is you constantly have to have an invitation to meet with your clients, right? I'd say about 60% of y'all have been a client or are current clients right now on this call. It's an engagement strategy for me to be able to have exposure to that database and also be able to maximize my time that I don't have capacity, just like you don't have capacity to train, to check in, to do all the other one-on-one things. But it gives me experience for you all to be like, cool, I got some Connie energy, some best practices of Samantha, some best practices of these pieces. We got a little community moment. See you next month. See you next quarter. If I'm fully honest with you, this is one of the simplest, most rewarding ways for your clientele to feel engaged. It's free. It's an hour. It's non-committal. Please start doing this for 2025. Okay. All right, sweet friends. So what do I mean by cultivate a plan? We got 5 more minutes, and then y'all need to give me your okay, these are my takeaways. So don't stress out. I'm giving you a 5-minute warning. Okay. All right. So first step is I want you to implement a structured follow-up system with All 4 of those, please pick 2. Okay. Don't roll out all 4 for the next 90 days. Pick 2. Okay. Then you're going to create a system. My encouragement is that you touch engagement, not social media, like, post, comment, things. That's not what I mean by that. Your engagement department, you touch it every other week for 2 hours. Because I think it's helpful. I think all of us kind of struggle. It's like, what am I supposed to do when I'm doing my marketing Monday, Connie? What am I supposed to do on my sales, Wednesday, right? So when you're doing your engagement department, I want it to be 2 hours every other week where you're building out 1, 2, 3, or 4, or you're implementing 1, 2, 3, or 4. And what you're doing in that systematic way is that then you are literally putting on your calendar, it doesn't change, for quarter 2. So what you build for this quarter, please don't get all in your head and be like, I got to do something totally no. Get it done. And then in July, let's make some tweaks on, maybe we bring in strategy 3, let strategy 2, fall offline for 90 days. But do you see how I'm always cycling 2 out of 4 of these? Okay. So then number 3, I'm making sure that, like, the regular check-ins, the reminders on my Google Calendar, my Asana, my whatever other tracking system you're using is like, cool. The department now has a cornerstone in my business model. It's not, I forgot to do engagement and I wonder why no one's signing up for my next thing. Because you just asked them to get married and you never took them on a date in the last year. That's why. Okay. So stop asking them to marry you after, like, I don't know what happened. We went on one date and I never talked to them, but then I put my offer out there. It's not going to work. Okay. And then number 4 is you need to put a 90-day check-in as the engagement director to make sure that you're like, okay, out of these, 10 interactions, people attending a workshop like this, out of my focus group that worked, out of my open office hours that worked, you literally start cultivating. You're like, okay, Trish, was engaged in this. The comment that Samantha said was most meaningful was this. You have to start capturing what's working and what isn't. Like, one more real moment. You all have probably paid for a lot of engagement or follow-up strategies, whether they've been automated or tchotchke things, or again, your time. Where did you document that, like, this is what worked and didn't work? We just keep trying a new thing. I have a document in place that I'm like, okay, for my 90-day check-in, 6 of these people did the thing, checked in, wanted more questions. Maybe 4 of these. Well, what happened to these 4? I'm always looking at that data of what did work or what didn't as the engagement director. Okay. Okay. So let's close out here. Next, adulting happy hour. We've gotten beautiful feedback because I run focus groups, aka you should too, is that people are wanting to rotate a 3:30 and then a later and a 3:30 and a later, which was great feedback because a lot of kid pickup time and or it's cutting into a traditional, day. So we're going to flow that for 2025. So Tuesday, February 18th is going to be our 6 to 7 Mountain Standard Time. And then we're going to flow up to an earlier happy hour when it goes to March. Okay. So this is a perfect example of, I did a focus group of 15 folks that were in my top 20% that I wanted to keep dating, right? They didn't have any other engagement points. And I was like, super, why haven't you attended any adulting happy hours? I want your feedback before I go and launch 2025. It was the best 10, 15 person, conversation I had in a group setting to make sure that, one, even if they attend or not, I could cross 15 checklist items off that they felt, again, part of the loyalty and brand to be like, I understand now why, let me make some adaptations. Best use of my hour I probably had in all of quarter 4. Okay. And then if you're needing additional support, so I run different accountability groups, whether it be habits, whether it be sales, whether it be CEO work. So for this training and for my current clientele, I offer an engagement accountability group. Okay. So it's 90 days. So you get a cycle under your belt. It's 2 times a month where we hop on a Zoom call, and it's not coaching. It is, I need to make my list, send the email, look at my top 20%. So if you know That last part of your business model is like, Connie, I kill it with networking, I kill it with education, but I don't do follow-up and engagement, okay? I don't do the 2 hours every other week like you just told me. This is a stepping stone for accountability that gives you then a virtual working session 2 times a month. And then 1 time a month, I am doing a group strategy call where we are talking about, because the most important part of your business model is retention. Please stop spending dollars on new leads and new prospects and not holding their hand to marriage. Okay, so that is what we talk about on a very technical level, because again, I'm a very skill set driven type of coach. If that's something you're wanting to develop, that group for 90 days is only $199. And then if you message me on the training, or if you're watching this recording, I will offer, if you sign up before this Friday, which I believe is the 17th, but I want to make sure. Yep, the 17th, I will offer an additional 30 minutes of one-on-one strategy. That can be about anything you want it to be, but that's hopefully an incentivization to you to go, you know, where you need accountability in, right? And again, based off of the focus group, a lot of my accountability groups the last couple of years have been habits, have been this, and they're like, I get my marketing done now, Connie. I'm 6 weeks out. I got my sales calls. I'm doing my calls to action, girlfriend. And then I'm like, and then what happened to the 17 people that like loved you and you haven't heard from them in 2 years? I'm not doing so great in that area. That is why I've made a shift of accountability to move it to the later part of your sales cycle so that you don't just keep your churn rate very high. So that's why I'm making that shift in full transparency. Okay. So if that's of interest, just send me a private message on the Zoom link or in social media land. And I can provide details and the dates and times of all those accountability sessions. And then again, if it's by this Friday, I'll do 30 minutes of strategy coaching complimentary. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share. We are at 8 minutes with the hand up right there. We are going to go round robin from bottom to top. What was your greatest takeaway that you are going to implement? That is what I want to hear from you. I'm going to make sure I lower my little hand here. There we go, because I'm just so excited. We're going to start with Amanda B. Greatest takeaway from today. What's your ownership you can take out of 1, 2, 3, or 4? And then we're going to go to Ashley.
I'm driving, but like I'm going to tell you really quick. My son is in the back and I was like woohooing at all of the things that you just said. So thank you.
Good.
Biggest takeaway is your idea of running this container. I have a travel group on Facebook, and just even like you said, getting on like once a month and just doing, you've said this to me before, but it's never resonated. And for the first time, the light bulb like went on 100%. And I think you can just get on there, whether it be like, and like, if I'm talking for 15 minutes about, you know, travel tips or whatever, and then have an office hours, or if I schedule a specific night and promote it for a specific destination. But using what you just said about a container and how to activate it for what I do and to draw in more people as well. That's my takeaway.
Love it. I always like to add and quarterly and use it as an intake time. So like you, like AK steal this format for each one of you. Hold the last 10 minutes to be data you now can intake to be like, my next adulting happy hour, I need to focus on small group engagement because that's what Amanda just told me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just like, how did everyone do with the content? Give me your thing. I am literally like this part is where I'm like, okay, sisters, tell me what resonated with you, because then it's data that I'm able to adapt my value content strategy to. Okay, so I want to tell you, that's why we hold this 10 minutes. Yes, it's important for you to introspect and tell me what's most resonating. But as the business owner, as the engagement director, this is the 10 minutes that you're like, cool, they're all going to only remember 20% of what we just shared anyways. I need to know what that top 20% was. So I'm just giving you a behind the scenes. Okay, hat back on. All right, Ashley, and then we're going another Amanda.
My thing I'm going to implement is the way I'm showing up and focusing on how and what I'm sharing in terms of content to really gear that towards that 20% of clients. Yeah.
Good. Do you have that list, friend? Like, do you know who those top 20% humans are?
Yeah, it's the new folks in my new Saturday classes for sure.
Okay. And do you have that segmented in your CRM differently?
No.
Action step right there. Steal that
Okay.
everybody on this. All of my top when my top 20% keeps, percolating,
Mhm.
percolating. They have a specialty tag. So like in 4 months, I'm not going to be like, who's my
Yeah.
top 20 once again? And then I'm wasting 6 hours fine tooth combing a CRM system because we've all done that 17 times. So
Yeah.
start tagging top 20% clientele, top 20% clientele, no matter again, what package they've bought, where they live, any of that, just go, these are my
Mhm.
top 20%. You can call them VIP list,
Mhm.
folks. Then you're able to be like, what's the theme with them for the last couple years?
Right. Thank you.
Tag them differently, categorize that differently. All right, Amanda, welcome to the first adulting happy hour. Are you coming to the next?
Yes. I I'm
She's in
like
it.
baby business owner. So the takeaway is all of it. I mean, I would say the big ones for me, I love the thought of the focus group, just creating community, because that's like really important to me. Working with women and who are going through things and I don't want them to feel alone. So I love that. And I think that, yeah, it's a good way to leverage all the different things that you talked about. So I'm going to spend some more time, figuring out what that looks like and where I start it and focus it.
Good.
And then I love the personal touch point. Right now I start with like a clarity call for 15 minutes. And I think really thinking more about what that follow-up looks like, whether or not they agreed to start a program after that call. Like you said, just personalizing that more. And yeah, getting them excited if they are working with me, getting them excited to get started. And if they're not, maybe asking for some feedback or any of that.
Yep, good. And personalizing that so early on in the process. Like all of us can get better at that. All of us
Mhm.
can. It's a big deal when a client gives you money for your services. We need to stop downplaying that.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's been such a success factor for me as I'm like, every client I'm like, they are giving me their hard-earned family dollars to trust me to solve whatever all of our services are and be a resource. I treat it that serious, also helps with retention. I'm not like, oh, okay, well, let's get, I'm like, nope, that mint that I need to pay forward, I need to double down on that for me to not only have retention, but to go, I want them to have such an outstanding once in a lifetime experience that I don't have to worry about the upsell later in the process. Okay, data point, if you can onboard and shock and awe is the technique of that. If you haven't read anything with Darren Hardy, if you can shock and awe someone in the first 20% of their package with you, you don't have to worry about 2 renewals. They're like, sign me up, send me the bill. I don't, whatever you say, I'll do the next thing. But you have to shock and awe them in the first 20% of the process of working with you. Okay. Awesome, Amanda. Glad you are here. Michelle and then Laura.
Okay, there we go. I'm home now, so you can actually see what I look like. Um, so the biggest takeaway is similar to what a lot have been focusing on is I feel like some sort of container like this,
Mhm.
just trying to think about, given the type of business that I have that's product focused, maybe something like either an information session sharing about more detail about certain products or something like that, some sort of free hour, or almost like office hours. Do you have questions? Do you need support? I'd have to figure out what it would look like. But something that's nurturing them. And I've also have been implementing more of the nurturing the customers when they first, like onboarding them better with emails and tips and suggestions and whatever, to like what you're saying about in the beginning of it, like onboard them well so they want to keep buying. The
Yep.
other part would be to how to re-engage, think about, like, I want to think about how to re-engage past customers who maybe fell off the wagon on something, but maybe they don't know about. So try and do it through some of these information sessions or something. I don't know what it
Yep.
would look like yet, but
Yep. 2 feedback points. When it becomes about our products or services, it can get a little dry, okay? When it comes to best practices, right? So think about my product on the shelf is coaching, right? Is strategy coaching or retention coaching. I show the benefits. I called it the best practices. Same thing with you. Best practices of skincare, best practices of rejuvenation of, skin health inside, outside. Give best practices. Let the undertone be, keep working with me, a service I can provide, a product that we have. Then, because if it's just we have that, like if Samantha just went and be like, I have this membership and I have this, and it's 45 minutes of just what Trish offers in this, I'm not getting value content. I'm learning what the business is. I would shift that to go the importance of a morning routine and a 5-step process or a 6-step process. You decide kind of what you have time for. Teach them the habit you're trying to create a culture around, not centric about any of our business.
Right.
Okay. Okay, good. Laura, and then Amelia.
So just the whole concept of engagement director and engagement, I again heard this before. It landed today. The Mint, holy cow. Just that whole philosophy. Thanks so much for that example to really help it land. And then so just for me is sitting there and wow, I have somebody that just recently signed up. What can I do for her? So that's my first action to really wow her some more. So plenty more, but I'll stop there. Thank you so much, Connie. This was incredible.
Shock and awe her and use her name. I intentionally used every single one of your names at least twice before I created this community or closed out or examples from. Please do not miss that part of strategy 1. You have to be like, thank you, Joanne, for our consultation. Joanne, I'm going to spend, do not miss that mark. It's a 2-person minimum that you say their name. Do not miss that mark. That's not Connie just being nice. It is. But I need you to remember that part of strategy 1 for the Mint piece, you need to reinforce that I actually remember everyone's names. That is a missed skill set when it comes to business. Okay. Awesome. Let's keep rocking. Amelia and then Krista.
I like I'm dating my clients because I say that in my relationships a lot. I guess I'm like, this is, I'm big on that when I'm in an intimate relationship of like, hey, I need this kind of interaction to keep this flame going. Following up with clients in a personalized way. I was really good about it and kind of went off track, I feel like, because sometimes I felt like people didn't even respond to me or get back to me, and I was having a huge number, just didn't seem to care that I personalized a voice memo or a long text message to them. So I kind of got away from it, but then I've started slowly again, and some people are like, wow, I can't believe you remember that about me. And I had one client come in and she's like, you must be taking notes. And so I love that. One of the things I always struggle with in my practice, I feel like I check in, ask people, do a lot of these things. One of the things in mine is some people are always, it comes down to pricing for them or financial piece for them. And I can tell that they truly, honestly want to work with me, but the financial piece isn't there for them. So that's always a difficult thing for me to understand, because then I do have to invest in oh, wow, I do need to maybe a different client. And even though I'm but I feel like the communication's there. So I loved everything because I feel like it really reinforced what I'm kind of slacked off on and I want to get back into.
Here's an encouragement. All of us have had feedback of, whoa, I wasn't expecting that sticker shock. So welcome to owning a business. 2 workarounds for that, because I love to laser coach. When I have the consultation and then say to work with me is X amount of dollars. And then again, it's a financial, I don't have that plan. My engagement strategy is is this a 10 out of 10 that you want to make this commitment? They say yes or no, right? And then I'm like, okay, so if it's a financial, savings plan or debt, reduction, or you need to make some extra cash or sell something or whatever, do you want me to help you be accountable to activate this service with me? So I reverse engineer that with the client. I say, okay, so is it, $1,000 that is still kind of like there's a gap in your personal budget and the professional budget to make this? I also ask, how many clients do you need to secure or save or whatever? And I go, do you want me to check in with you on a monthly basis? Because again, this is dating. If we were going to get married, we have to save for a freaking wedding. Okay. Okay. So like, this is real. I do this all the time. If there's a barrier in financial and I say, would it be of service? Okay. Would it be of service if we're on a call for 15 minutes and you have a savings goal of 350 to get to the, 1,200 to work with me for, this portion. And then we can say we start on, May 1st. Would that be of service? Because most of them just need accountability to do that. Now, you do your business the way you want to. I believe that I want to model for my clients to be like, if this is something you really want to move forward with and you're going to spend this, do that, whatever, I'm like, I'm happy to walk you through a 3-month commitment to get whatever, sell whatever, negotiate whatever, close out whatever, but I will only do it for 3 months. And I tell them that. I say, then if we miss that mark, I'm going to trust you. Well, then, get to a point that when, you're ready to make that financial commitment, then, we'll see in the fall or we'll see next year. But I absolutely offer that as a payment accountability plan. It's some of the best interpersonal time that they know I have skin in the game, because I'm giving them a 15-minute call to be like, I want you to be in this too. We're co-creating this transformation, but I'm only going to give you 90 days. Is that something you want to take? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Krista and Trish.
I am just trying to wrap my head around things. I am coming up to, in April, it will have been a year since I joined the business with my uncle. And within 2 months of joining, the previous business partner left. So it's literally been, the rest of the year has been putting out fires. And I don't feel like I've been able to really fully get my feet under me with the new brand name and all of that's going on. And we've got some positive things going on. I feel like we're moving in the right direction. So I took notes about trying to find out who our top 20% is and reaching out to the people who have renewed their website listing with us, so that those are kind of the people to get in touch with and offer something else to, but I don't exactly know what that is yet. I've kind of got to digest this and figure out how it works for our business.
Yep. And the value add ask, because you are in such a transient. And again, we've talked about your business model is very different than a lot of us on this call. My encouragement would be the top 20% that have been members of the publication or the cross promotional, however the infrastructure was, if they have been 3 years or more, or even if it's a 2-year mark or more, then being able to be an advisory board role, them to be able to be a VIP, board or, overseer or some perceived leadership role is another great way to keep your top tier humans giving advice, overseeing, being able to feel like there's a contribution, and you give them a little stamp, you give them a title, but that's a great way to take some of those really ride or die clients that they're going to advise in the best interest, and you give them 2 board meetings a year. Okay. That's good, Krista, because you have a very unique business model. All right, Trish, and then Samantha.
Okey-doke. Mine is, I absolutely love the 5 people or 6 people in a focus group, because I've done kind of like a mini exit interview with clients, like, what did you like? How did I help you best? And encouraging them to do like a Google review. But I feel like I'll get so much more like meat and potatoes as far as like good nuggets that I can use for future clients, engaging them in a group. So I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. To your point, a lot of our engagement or feedback processes is when they have churned out of your business model. We have to stop doing that. Build it in earlier. Good, good, good. Okay, Samantha, give us your final big nuggets. Fireworks moment.
Fireworks. I don't know if they're fireworks, but I've been tiptoeing around the idea of kind of copying you and your adulting hour for a while. So, yep. I do monthly trainings now, but they're not getting a lot of traction. And I think it's because there's not that consistency in like the name and the understanding of it. And I think that by making a little bit more branded and more consistent in the timing, it will help. So I do love that idea of just developing the community piece of it. And then of course I love the Mint stuff because I love personalizing and, you know, all of that jazz. And I have a big workshop starting on Thursday. So I've got emails that are going out tomorrow, and I guess I'll take the time to do personal. No.
The ROI on it, ladies, is crazy beautiful. I wouldn't tell you that. I was like, I think it might be a good strategy. I'm like, please start. It is best use as your engagement director title for y'all that just kind of got a shock on, you know, a new title added to the list. It is our responsibility to be like, what actually has worked, that personalized outreach, that thank you for the order. Thank you for the next step. Thank you for the referral. Yes, I know we all send the thank you card or the, you know, thank you for the renewal, more passive ways. Please do not forget the power of handwritten, personalized voice memo. Thank you so much for joining XYZ. Do not forget the power of that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to close the recording, and everyone else that needs to shift out. Again, we'll be rocking and rolling a little bit different time, but still on the third Tuesday. I'm going to push stop record. And so anyone else that